Good morning, everyone. Um, my name is Bernard, and with Insurance Advisors Direct, and we're pleased to have you guys on this webinar with us this morning. I'm going to be discussing Voluntary Benefits 101, and one of the presenters here is Chad Bozel with Transamerica, and he'll be presenting the presentation today. We have everybody on mute. You'll be able to type in some questions at the end of the presentation. I'll read the questions to Chad, and he'll answer the questions. And with that said, Chad, you can get started.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Bernard, and thank you all for being a part of the meeting today. I'm hoping that everybody's having a good day, and I hope everybody can hear me fine. If you don't, just let Bernard know, and I'll change the speed, change what we're doing. I'm the Regional Vice President for Transamerica Employee Benefits, and I work with Bernard and Insurance Advisors Direct as a home office employee for Transamerica. And we're going to talk today a little bit about voluntary benefits. As you can see here, Voluntary Benefits 101 is the page, the name of our presentation today. And I'm going to, Bernard, if we could go to the next slide. Perfect.
You already did it.
I want to talk to you today about. Yep. Oh, okay, good. Well, what I want to do is talk to you guys today about, what are voluntary benefits? How can they help you guys do a couple of things? Gain more control over your clients, make it a little bit harder for other people to take those clients away from you, and then also how you can maximize your opportunities inside that client to give them better benefits and also increase income for yourself. So there are two types of employee benefits that are offered in the world. One of them are employer-funded ones, which is the ones we're all kind of used to. That's the medical benefits, the dental benefits, the vision benefits. These are usually plans that the employer does either fund 100% or fund partially to provide a benefits package to their employees. The second type is what we'll talk about today, and those are the employee-funded or voluntary benefits. Those come down to being the disability type of products, life insurance that they can purchase internally, accident, critical illness, cancer benefits, hospital indemnity type of products. These are, and it hurts me to say it, but these are kind of more like along the lines of the AFLAC type of product lines that are available in this in the workplace. So what Transamerica focuses on is the voluntary piece. Now, employers can pay for these benefits. It doesn't matter to us at all, but most generally, 99% of the time, we're going to see this as a employee-funded voluntary product line that they choose to take and they choose to pay for, payroll deducted from their plans. So one of the things that not to add any kind of confusion on here, all products can be employer funded, but like I said, but a majority of them are going to be employee funded. The hospital indemnity and the gap, we'll talk a little bit about those coming up. Those tend to fall into a different category where you can see them as employer funded. But they're kind of offered as a menu offering. Product line, you come in, you offer up one or two of these products in an organization. They get to pick and choose what they would like as the employee, and what it's designed to do is to help them offset costs that they're going to have out of pocket if they have an accident, if they have a critical illness, any kind of a family medical emergency or expenses that they're going to be responsible for. Now, that could be co-payments on the insurance, that can be deductibles that they're going to be responsible for, but it also, these products are, majority of these products are paid, the benefits are paid directly to the employee. So what happens with that is they get the money and they can at that point do what they would like with it. It helps maintain their current lifestyle, because we all know if you have an accident, you have some illness, you're probably going to miss work, so you're going to have some situations where your income may be affected by it. So moving on to our next page here. So who is the target market for these? In all honesty, it is middle America type of folks. It's going to be those who are in the manufacturing world. It's going to be those administrative people and those office workers who are, I don't want to say living paycheck to paycheck, but they're in that middle America, middle income type of a situation. Super high wage earners tend to have cash in reserves for these types of issues. But as we all know, a majority of Americans today aren't going to have that extra money just sitting around, that if they had a heart attack, if they were diagnosed with cancer, if they had a big accident, that they're just going to be able to go tap into their savings or tap into this reserve and pay for any out-of-pocket expenses that are going to be related to the injury alone, and then also be able to maintain their lifestyle as they're going through treatment and going through the recuperation process. It's kind of like, do you have the money put aside that if your water heater goes out or if your air conditioning goes out, how many people have that money set aside? I bet they probably more that look at it as having that money set aside than rolling the dice and gambling that they're going to have an illness or an accident. The value in this piece, too, is that we have guarantee issue parameters on the plan. It is payroll deducted, so they don't really see the money leaving their pocket because it is payroll deducted and it has the ability to do it along those lines. So again, as we've discussed as the last bullet point there previously, those high age earners tend to have that cash on hand, where most of America, including myself, including a majority of the people that I know, do not have that reserve in place to be able to cover those expenses. So one of the main drivers here that we've seen in the voluntary products increasing in sales recently and over the past few years is just due to copays and deductibles going up. The ACA, as we all know, has addressed certain parts of coverage, but they did not address pricing and costs. So where copays are going up, where deductibles are increasing, again, that puts a burden back onto the employee to have to come up with that money. So if brokers like yourselves are not offering these types of benefits, there's a couple of things that stand out to me on it. Then the employer is probably going to go direct to another carrier, like an Aflac, like a Colonial, where they'll farm that business out, which in all honesty, those guys are working with brokers too. They're going to let them know that ABC company is being offered Aflac, that their broker isn't talking about this to them. So maybe this other broker can go in and look at becoming their broker of record on their other product lines that you offer. The other piece on this too is that the folks need these products. As we've stated before previously here, they need these products to help offset those costs of those deductibles going up, so, and the copays and the other expenses. So that's the best two-part example I can give on why these products we're seeing an increase in sales. We're seeing an increase in carriers getting into the business, trying to become voluntary experts, but the situation that they deal with there is that they're not used to this. They don't know this business. Transamerica knows this business. This is what we have done for over 40 years, these types of product lines and these types of benefits. So that gets me into the transition of why Transamerica. Well, these products are sold, like it says, they're belly to belly or face to face. These products are the types of products that have to be sold. They are not, people will buy life insurance, people will buy dental insurance, people will buy vision insurance, they'll even sometimes buy disability insurance because they understand the need for it. But these products then, to the critical illnesses, the accidents of the world, the hospital indemnity products of the world, they tend to need to be sold. And it's not that you're trying to force somebody to take it. They need to be explained to somebody. It's like, okay, if I go out on disability, then I know I'm going to be missing work and this is going to replace my income. But what they don't think about is, okay, I've got an accident. My kid plays football, or my daughter's playing softball. She has an accident, gets an injury. I take her to the emergency room. with our new health plan, I'm going to have out-of-pocket expenses on this. I'm going to have an out-of-pocket expense on this, out-of-pocket expense on this. How do I offset it? So the big situation here is that we don't want to make it a high-pressure sale. We want to make it an education piece. How do we educate that employee on how this plan or this specific benefit will coincide and cooperate with your health plan to help them understand a little bit better about not only what these plans do, but they help them understand their medical plans. Because I think we all know a majority of folks have no idea how their health plan works. They just know they got something, and if they go to the doctor, they think it's going to be paid for, and then they may have to dig down into their pocket to pay for the deductible and such. But that's the simple reason on why we do what we do. The other piece on this is that it's not a long drawn out conversation anymore. These products are designed to be able to hit the high points, how they coincide, how they work alongside their benefits that they currently have, and what the value is to them for being able to do those products. The other piece in it too is, what is an employee doing or an employer doing to keep their current employees or to recruit new and better employees? They usually refer back to a benefit plan. And this type of product line helps enrich those benefit plans. Even though it's employee paid, it still shows that they have a rich benefit plan that makes it enticing for somebody to stay at that company, or make it enticing for somebody to leave their other company who does not have a good benefits plan to keep it here in their plan moving forward. So we also have a strong technology piece with Transamerica. Just to kind of touch base on that, we have the ability to tap into any kind of Ben admin platform that your clients may have already invested in. We do not sell Ben admin. We will recommend Ben admin platforms, but we are pretty much agnostic when it comes to what Ben admin platforms we will work with. Just last year, we were on 168 different types of benefit administration platforms and enrollment platforms. So we're able to plug our products into those platforms because we're seeing more and more employers investing in these types of products, investing in these types of platforms to be able to make their HR division stronger, make it easier on their folks. So we will be able to interact with that along the lines. Do we still do paper apps? We still do paper apps sometimes. But the goal in this is we're wanting to make sure that we can simplify the process, not only for you as the broker, that you can walk in with a simplified process to sell to your client, but also to make it simple for the client to become to get these product lines and be able to enroll and be able to secure their family's lifestyle. So how can you drive these opportunities? And these are the ones where, please feel free to weigh in here, type in questions, type in feedback that Bernard can talk with us about and relay to me. But you don't have to be a product expert on this. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to assist you to help put a plan together for your clients that will help you be able to get, I guess, your fingers a little bit deeper into that pie to hold on to that client. Let's sit down. Let's look at what your client's needs are. Let's look at what your client's objectives are, and then we can build a product solution for them. So I can assist you with that, and I can assist you in a number of different ways. Us having conversations on the phone, us having face-to-face meetings when I come to town and at Bernard's office. I can even assist you on certain clients of having a conversation, having meetings with you and that client as being the expert on voluntary benefits. I have no problem with doing that. We are at Transamerica are restricted from going direct, so you don't have to worry about me going out and taking a client from you because I can't do it anyways. I have to work through the broker, and we are working through IAD on these types of opportunities. So to identify these opportunities, there's a few questions I think that are just basic questions if you ask a client that I think will identify opportunities for that client and for you. So The first one is real simple. Do you have, does that client have voluntary benefits in place? I mean, and that question can be posed in a number of different ways. Do you have voluntary benefits in place? Do you offer any kind of AFLAC or anything along those lines? The question of that answer is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be, no, we don't offer anything, or two, yes, we do offer AFLAC. If they say, yes, we offer AFLAC, yes, we offer these product lines, the benefit then at that point is they've already bought into this idea. They understand the value at this point of those products. So that kind of a conversation then steers down to, well, what if I can put you in a better opportunity, better product line, better pricing, richer benefits than what you're doing now? If I can take a look at it, would you be open to moving to a different carrier? On the one side where if they say, no, we haven't offered those, then that's when you want to start opening up that questions of, okay, well, let's look at what you're trying to accomplish with your major medical plan. Are you happy with that major medical plan? Are you trying to, do you need to address the costs of that plan? How, what would you like to see different with your major medical plan? Because that question is going to drive what voluntary products you would put into a situation. So if they're looking to, well, hey, we've had a great deductible, but it's just too much for us now. We have to go to a higher deductible to lower our costs. Perfect. And let's take a look at an accident plan to offset those nickel and dime situations of when you have to go to the doctor or go to the hospital for these small accidents. And then on the other end of the spectrum, let's look at a critical illness plan for those catastrophic type of diagnosis of a cancer plan, of cancer, of a heart attack, of a stroke, where if you have one of those critical illnesses, you're going to max out your deductible at that point. How can you help be able to afford to have that to offset that deductible? The other question you ask is how is turnover here? When you're hiring somebody for your organization, what are you trying to look for? What do you have to provide to them that's different than anybody else? These product lines will help drive that because you're enriching a benefit plan that maybe they don't currently have with their current employee that says, you know what, this is a good move for me because look at the benefit side of the products that I get. So those are the kinds of questions that just up front will start identifying. You'll be able to pick up I call them red flags, but I would also call them green flags in the fact that you're going to hear certain things, certain answers in those questions that are going to be like, this might be a great opportunity for me to introduce voluntary benefit. If it's a new client that you are targeting, you may have issues getting in there at first with the major medical. They may just say, you know what, we love our broker. He's not, we're not looking to change. And then you start asking that question, okay, well, does your broker, do you have voluntary benefits in here? Well, no, we don't. Okay, well, could I talk to you a little bit about that? Maybe perhaps I can offer you a solution for those types of situations. If you can get in the door with those voluntary benefits and get that stuff set up, I think you got a very good chance of being able to AOR and become the broker of record on the major medical, maybe not this first year, but maybe the next year down the road, because you're offering them a solution that their current broker did not offer them. So that is kind of some of the, how to drive the opportunities, how to question and identify, this is where we're at. This is what I can provide to you, and get the buy-in from that employer. Are there any questions up to this point? Bernard, are you seeing anything, any responses at this point that we need to address?
No questions at the moment.
Okay, perfect. Well, now we're going to roll into products here. I'm going to start off with our life products. We have a very, very unique product line for our life benefits. We have 3 life products that you can offer on a payroll deduction platform. We have a 5, 10, or 20-year term life product. We have a universal life product, and we also have a whole life product that is set up for payroll deduction guarantee issue parameters. What is nice about that is if you look at those 3 product lines, the term, the universal life, and the whole life, you see a very wide spread in price points. So you're going to be able to address what your client's needs are at all levels of income and coverage. Term life, Simple. 5, 10, or 20 years, that's going to be your base. It's going to be your cheapest plan that you can offer in a payroll deduct model. The universal life is going to be our middle of the road. It is our more popular plan. It is the most popular life plan that we sell is the universal life. The whole life, you're looking at permanent life there, permanent life product, higher cost on it, but it is truly permanent. Here's where we stand out as being very unique. We have guarantee issue parameters on these groups. So when you look at a situation to where you're going into an organization in an under 100 life group, we can guarantee issue life benefits with a long-term care benefit on it at 5 lives. Anything under 100 life group, we will guarantee issue at 5 lives. Now, when I talked about I just mentioned the long-term care situation. On the term life and the whole life, we have a true long-term care benefit, and it's going to give you a percentage of the face amount monthly for 25 months. Should you be required to have either home health care, professional home health care at your home, or be placed into a care facility, a licensed care facility. And these products, like I said, they're going to pay for 25 months, or you have the ability to put an extension benefit rider on there for another 25 months to increase it to full 50 months. The universal life product has what we call our living benefits rider, which works just like the long-term care benefit, except it is paid directly to the employee policyholder. So it's not as restrictive as the long-term care. You still have to have 2 ADLs to qualify, but you could have, for the universal life, you could have a spouse, you could have a neighbor, you could have a sibling. It doesn't have to be a licensed caretaker to help take care of you. So that's why I think our universal life is pretty popular, is because it's less restrictive than the true long-term care riders. And it also, the universal life goes to age 100. So it's semi-permanent life is what I would call it. But again, we can guarantee issue those benefits at under 100 lives at 5 lives or 5 people taking the plan. Above 100 lives, we get into participation pieces to guarantee issue, but it's still guarantee issuable. So that's where I think that we stand out against our competitors, because we can give you this type of benefit. And on the UL and the whole life, if you were to exhaust your entire face value or cash value situation on long-term care, there is a paid-up 25% benefit at the end upon death. So you're still going to get a final expense or a final benefit at death, and still be able to maximize and use your long-term care benefits as needed. Are there any questions on the life product and the long-term care piece?
I see no questions, Chad.
Okay. I'd just like to make a point on this, that I think that a majority of if you go out and try to buy a long-term care plan right now, whether it's an individual or if you're lucky enough to find one of the couple of companies that still sell group long-term care, first of all, it's going to be very difficult to qualify and get the plan. You take guarantee issue pretty much off the table. But to go and be able to offer a permanent life, like whole life product or universal life product in an organization, payroll deducted, and no blood tests, no underwriting questions, no family history, not having to jump through the hoops of going out and buying an individual life plan, that's what makes us very unique and very marketable, because those product lines, we can offer something that nobody else can pretty much offer at a substantially cheaper rate without having to jump through all those hoops. So I usually lead with the life products, because I think they are something that set us apart. So then we'll move on to the critical illness product. Critical illnesses, what we consider critical illnesses are like heart attack, cancer, bone marrow transplants, strokes, major organ transplants, even Lou Gehrig's disease is included in ours, Alzheimer's disease is included in ours, end-stage renal failure, stroke, As you'll see the second bullet point there, we have a number of other things. And in fact, believe it or not, I got a call on Thursday where one of our clients has Rocky Mountain spotted fever. So they asked me, they go, will that be covered? And I was like, absolutely, it's covered. They've got our critical illness plan, so they would be able to make a plan or make a claim on that type of an illness. It will also cover coronary artery bypasses. The prostate cancer is covered at 25%. Carcinoma in situ is also a covered piece there. I spoke about Alzheimer's disease. It is covered at a reduced amount at 30%, but it's still covered. We will do a skin cancer benefit at 5% of what your face value is. Now, on the critical illness, just to kind of touch base on what we can offer anything from $10,000 up to $50,000 for a benefit. The way that works is if you're diagnosed with a plan, if you're diagnosed with a critical illness, then at diagnosis, you file a claim, we pay that benefit to you. So if you had a $20,000 benefit, $20,000 critical illness plan with us, and you have a heart attack, we're going to give you $20,000 based on the diagnosis. There is no pre-existing conditions on our plan, the critical illness piece. It is the first occurrence after the effective date. So the best way for me to describe it is a person has a heart attack in November. They come on our plan January 1. January 20th, they have a heart attack again. We're going to pay them a full benefit. We also have the ability to put a recurrence benefit on the plan where if they would have a second heart attack, we would pay the benefit again. If they would have a heart attack and then have a stroke as a result of that heart attack, they're going to get a full benefit for the stroke. It's a very rich product line. But that's how the second occurrence or the recurrence benefits work with us. There's a wellness benefit on this. We have the ability to put either a $50 or $100 wellness benefit. Now, what that means is that if they go into the hospital or go into the doctor, have an annual checkup, have certain tests ran, we're going to pay them either $50 or $100, depending on what the benefit was that was put on the plan, for just going and having these tests run. So it encourages them that they're going to go to the doctor, have these tests run. It's a preventative situation, so it's probably not going to cost them, but they may have to pay a copay there. Let's say they have a $30 copay. Well, that $50 or $100 can help offset that. They may miss a couple hours of work. That $50 or $100 could help offset the time that maybe they lose at work if they're an hourly employee. But it's a wellness benefit that not only encourages them to go and have these tests run to increase their health and make sure that they're well, that they're not suffering from something and that it is caught early detection, but it also will help put a little bit of money in their pocket to offset any kind of time loss or pieces there. Guarantee issue, again, no medical questions asked, in under 100 life market, guarantee issued at 50, guarantee issue at 5 lives in the under 100 market. You get above that 100, then we look again at certain participation amounts that we would have to hit, but it's a guarantee issue type of situation. Our product has no reduction of benefits at any age. A lot of our competitors, you will see, they will have benefit reduction at age 70, or above age 70 and above, they do have to ask medical questions or go through underwriting. We do not do that. It is guarantee issue, and there is no benefit reduction at any age. And the benefits are fully portable. So the way that this product is set up is it's an individual product on a group chassis that allows us to do the guarantee issue, allows us to have that type of a situation, but they are fully portable, that if that master contract goes away, these folks still keep their plan at the issue age that they came into the plan on, no rate increase for them porting the plan, and absolutely no benefit reduction because they've ported or at any age. It is a truly fully portable product at the same rate. And again, I said they were issue age. What that simply means in my world is if you bought this plan at 30 years of age and you kept it till you were 60 years of age, your monthly plan, your monthly premium is going to be what you came in on the plan at 30. You're not going to see a rate increase on that. So that's where I think our critical illness kind of stands apart from some of our competitors because of the lack of we're not going to reduce those benefits, and we have the ability to do the guarantee issue parameters in the smaller case market that some of our competitors will not do. Any questions specifically around the critical illness? This is a plan that is designed specifically for accidents, as we stated. You're going to have a situation where you've been in a car accident, you're working at your house, you get injured doing something there off the job. You can do this 24-hour coverage, but I would rather see it, and I'll explain why. I think that it's off the job is the better approach on this for a couple of reasons, and we'll talk about it here in a second. But it's going to pay you benefits for going to the emergency room, going to the doctor within 96 hours of having an accident to be treated. If you break your finger, it's going to pay you X amount of dollars. If you break your leg, X amount of dollars. If you tear a hamstring, it's going to pay you X amount of dollars. It's going to allow you a benefit for follow-up treatment. So if you do have an injury and the doctor says, I got to see you the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to pay you accident follow-up treatment benefits for each time you go in for that. If you're required to take physical therapy, we're going to have a benefit in there built in for you to take physical therapy and be paid each time you go to that physical therapy. If you're required to take an ambulance for some reason, if it was a car accident or an accident in the house where an ambulance was involved, it was either a ground or an air ambulance, we're going to pay a benefit for that too. I think where we stand out on this is that we will pay benefits for kids that participate in sports. So as I described earlier, if you have a child that plays any sport and they are injured, you would be able to use these benefits if you have to take them to a hospital, take them to a caregiver for any of these accidents. So those are big positives on this plan, because I've got 2 kids, and trust me, I use our accident plan. I've used it twice, and I've been with the company now for a year. So my kids are just typical 12 and 10-year-old boys and that play sports, that get injured, and we've used these benefits for them. The conversation I started to have earlier with, we can offer the plan 24-hour coverage, or we can offer it non-OC or off the job. Here's my positioning on this. I very rarely will sell it 24-hour, and here's the reason why. It's more expensive because you're covering for 24 hours, and I don't think it's fair, one, to the employer who is probably paying for, or who is required by law in most states to cover workers' compensation. So if they're injured on the job, they're going to be taken care of by that workers' compensation piece. So you're really giving them double coverage for an accident. So does it make sense for that employee, if they get hurt, they may be making more money sitting at home than they would if they were if they just had the workers' comp covering what they're needed and they're not getting anything extra on that piece of it. The other thing, the flip side of that too, to the employee, is they're already covered under workers' comp. So they don't need to have extra coverage on that piece of it. So why have them pay more money for coverage they already have? They could take that money and either purchase more life insurance, put that money into a retirement plan, or what even is better is have more take-home money. So I am a firm believer in non-occupation or off-the-job accident coverage. Some companies are going to say, you know what, we want 24-hour coverage for our people, then that's fine. But I think if you can walk into an organization and see that, okay, they have one of my competitors in there that's selling them 24-hour accident coverage, I think the biggest question at that point would be is why? You have workers' comp? Yeah. Well, why are you having them take this too, so where they're getting a double benefit and paying more when you're already providing, you're paying out of your pocket for this workers' comp coverage? It's just, I think it makes it as a more educated sell, and I think it makes it look like you're bringing a solution to the table that somebody else probably brought 24-hour in because it's higher premium, and they're going to make more commission on it. So it's the positioning of that piece there that I think is very important when it comes down to looking at an accident plan in the world that we live in. Any questions specifically on the accident piece? We do have wellness benefits that go onto the accident plan, just like we did on the critical illness plan. So they would still be able to get wellness, and if they have both plans, the wellness benefits do not coordinate, so they would be able to make a claim on both of those plans for the wellness benefit. So I believe one of the last plans we're going to talk about today is going to be our medical gap insurance. Now, we have a couple of different situations. We have a hospital indemnity product, which is more of a, you go into the hospital, we're going to pay you this amount per day. If you have this benefit, it'll pay for this, it'll pay for that. But it's going to just be kind of a offset of a health plan that it's not going to be a true health plan, but it's going to just help you with out-of-pocket expenses. Or the TransConnect that we have is our true medical gap product. And what that is that's a plan that is married or that coincides with their current medical plan. So you have to be on the medical plan to be able to take this gap product. If the employee is on their spouse's plan at a different employer, they would not be able to buy this. It is tied directly to their current medical plan that their employer is offering. And it is designed to do a couple things. If you say, well, explain to me what do you cover? Well, I can't really do that because, again, it's married to the health plan design that you have. But what it's going to do is it's going to give you a benefit that can either gap the full deductible, partially gap that deductible, or gap full out-of-pocket expenses that they would be required to cover if they had an illness or hospital stay, something along those lines. So the out-of-pocket expense, so if it's an inpatient deal, let's say that you have a $2,000 deductible, you put a $2,000 gap plan in place. The $2,000 gap plan is going to pay first dollar any kind of expenses that you have, covered expenses, up to $2,000. And then at that point, the deductible will have been met, and then you will see at that point either a copay kick in or co-insurance kick in, or maybe it's a $100% plan to where you don't have any additional responsibilities. But it's designed to get to cover that gap that is put in there for the deductible. So what I have seen in the past is, let's say you've got somebody that's sitting on a $1,000 deductible, and they're just like, we can't do this anymore. The pricing is too expensive. We're going to have to move our deductible up. So your solution then is to go in with a $3,000 deductible. Now the employee is going to see their deductible triple at that point. So what happens is there's enough savings in this that perhaps you get them to that $3,000 deductible. You can either put a gap plan in for all $3,000, or maybe you put a gap platform in for $2,000. The employee still sees a $1,000 deductible like they always have. They would have first dollar coverage though with the gaps, and they're not going to be responsible for that $1,000 until they get past that first $2,000. But they don't see a big difference. But the price of their benefits come down, or their coverage comes down, and it's offset with still a good plan that's not much different than what they had in the past. So it's going to cover 50% for any kind of outpatient coverage, and then 100% of whatever the gap decision is on inpatient pieces. So as I go to the next page, Michigan, and I'm not sure the location of everybody on the call, but with IED being in Michigan, one of the things that we have now in the state of Michigan are gap plans that are shelf rated. Those of you who sold gap in the past are probably used to having to go get census information, get plan design information, submit that all into a third party, whether it's IAD or then it gets directed over to somebody like myself, and then we would have to run the numbers to see what makes sense or what the rates are for gap. Now with us, and I believe we're the only ones in the state of Michigan that have shelf rated to where you don't have to get that information up front. You literally have these rates right here that you're looking at. One of them is for nursing homes and hospitals only, and then the other is for all other industries, to where if you're looking at coming up with a solution, you could say, you know what, it's I want to look and see what a $2,000 gap deductible gap plan is. And so you can go over, if it's not a nursing home, it'd be the left-hand chart. So for $2,000, it's going to cost an employer employee $36.65 a month to have that gap plan, have $2,000 gap. And you just follow it out. It makes it so much easier than what you're probably used to doing in the past, where you had to get all that information up front. Now you can look at different solutions without broaching the subject with your client, and you can show them, okay, this is what we're looking at, but I also looked at this gap plan that if you went with this type of a product or went with this level of coverage, put this gap plan in, it's going to save you X amount of dollars a year. That's where I think these shelf rates come in extremely handy. And you can see across the top, underneath the shelf rate title, the different states that these plans are approved in at this point. Everything we do is by site of state rules. So if they're headquartered in Michigan and they have 3 or 4 different locations around the country, it's all going to be driven off of the Michigan rates, Michigan coverages, so you don't have that issue of, okay, well, Michigan has this plan design, but Indiana has this plan design, and Ohio has this plan design, so we have to put multiple plan designs in. No, everything is run off the site of state where it's headquartered out of. And so at that point, you're able to have coverage that is universal for all clients. So that's the gap discussion. That's pretty much all, product-wise. I think we wanted to hit the highlights of it. We do have a standalone cancer plan. We still do have the hospital indemnity. Our disability plans are going to be available out there for you to be able to sell a voluntary disability. But what I'd like to do now, Jason, was kind of highlight our biggest sellers, which is that life product, which is the critical illness and the accident. We do sell a lot of disability. We're very competitive in that world. We do sell hospital indemnity products, but then the gap with Michigan being a very unique situation because we have those shelf rates for the gap plan, that is very unique to that marketplace. So I think that is a definite conversation starter also with clients.
And I think the biggest thing for me is the products being portable.
Yeah.
And I see that all of the products are portable with Transamerican. That's a big benefit for a lot of clients, is if those benefits are portable after they leave.
Yeah, and being portable and then not having the benefit reduction with age also, that's great, because if they bought, like, for example, a $20,000 critical illness plan, they've been paying on it for 20 years, they retire, they take it with them, they're not going to lose any coverages, any benefits by taking it with them at any age. So that is also a very big plus for us, is not having those benefit reductions.
Okay, well, good deal. Chad, I don't see any questions.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
But folks, there may be questions out there that you have that you just don't feel comfortable asking, today, right now. Please feel free to email Bernard, or Bernard, I don't know if my contact information has been released to all of them, but I have no problems with that being, if you want to email me, give me a call and talk through an opportunity maybe you have or that you think you might have, let's definitely do that. And so, Bernard, feel free that if somebody contacts you with a question afterwards to give that information out. And because I think there's opportunities there. I know there's opportunities in the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan has been very good to me in my life with voluntary benefits. So I think it's an opportunity for you to be able to, like I said, approach your clients and either strengthen what they've got or maybe take over an opportunity to where they're not happy with their current broker, or they're not happy with their voluntary benefit plan, that you can be more of an asset and be more of a help to them. So please do not hesitate to ask me. I'd love to talk about opportunities and love to give you kind of pointers on how you can approach these clients and the information that you're going to want, because not all cases are the same. Every case is different. So let's tailor a response, or let's tailor a product design or whatever to them specifically for what they're trying to accomplish.
Well, Chad, I thank you. Folks, like Chad said, if there's any questions, send me the questions, and I'll send them to Chad, or if you want his phone number. Well, Chad, do you have your give me your phone number?
Yeah,
if you
can.
Yeah,
absolutely. My phone number is real simple. It is area code 765 765-278-2546. 765-278-2546. And then my email address is simply my name. It's Chad, C-H-A-D, period, Bozell, B as in boy, O as in opera, Z as in zebra, E as in elephant, L as in Larry, L as in Larry, at transamerica.com. Please feel free, like I said, do not hesitate, because I will answer any question you got. Whatever simple question you think it is, or how hard of a question you think it is, it doesn't matter to me. I will talk to you about any opportunity that you have.
Well, good deal, Chad. Again, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
The webinar is recorded. So if you have any questions, or if you want to view the webinar again, we'll have it on our YouTube page, or ask me. I can shoot you the link so you can view the presentation again. But yeah, feel free, call myself, email myself, or call Chad or email Chad if you have any questions. So that is it, my friends. Thank you all again, and hope to be hearing from you. Thank you again, Chad.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, now. Take care.